Living in North Central Ohio isn't settling. It's saving you six figures on the purchase of your home. That's a lot of money. Sometimes people say, oh, I wouldn't want to live in North Central Ohio. I'd rather be in a metropolitan area because I'm missing out. But the reality is that financially, it makes a whole lot of sense to live outside of the metro areas. So today, I'm going to go over the 2025 median sales figures, not only for North Central Ohio, some of the towns and the counties there, but also in Columbus. And I chose Columbus. Obviously, I could have picked Cleveland or Cincinnati too, but I didn't want to make the video too long, and I just wanted to talk about Columbus because it is the city in our state that is experiencing the highest level of growth. So we're seeing prices change pretty dramatically there. That's not to say that the prices are not higher in Cleveland and Cincinnati. They certainly are. But again, because Columbus is kind of on an upswing right now with many people growing in and expanding like crazy, I thought that would probably be the best example to talk about their median home values for 2025. So I usually don't read off of an iPad, but I'm going to do it today because there are a lot of numbers here and I don't want to get any of them wrong. And I want this to be a really good and informative video for you guys. So as I'm going over sales figures, I am going to look down and read those. So 2025 median sales prices in North Central Ohio. First, we're going to talk about Ashland County, okay? In the Ashland County area specifically. Ashland to start with. So the city of Ashland, your median sales prices last year were between $220,000 and $227,000. In Loudonville, which is a little bit further south, if you aren't real familiar with our county, they were between $210,000 and $240,000. I was a little surprised to see that theirs was a little higher than Ashland's, but then I thought about the fact that Mohican State Park is there, and there's a lot of people that move there or like to be there and will pay a premium to be very close to the state park, which is a beautiful state park. If you're ever in the area, it's a must-see. Next, West Salem. They are between 180 and 200K or 210K last year for their median sales price. They're just about as far as Loudonville is south of Ashland City. That's about as far north as that is. So that's heading up towards Cleveland. So I kind of wanted to give you a northern county number as well. Ashland County overall, and we are going to talk about the county numbers overall. And the reason we're going to do that is because we have several towns and cities in there, but there are lots of people that live in the in-between zone that don't particularly live close to a downtown or a city, right, in the county. So there's a lot of people still living in the county that really aren't attached to a particular municipality so much. And those housing prices matter a lot in our county. So Ashland County overall, the median sales price for 2025 was $260,000 to $275,000. So you notice that's a little bit higher than in town. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the houses that are out of town tend to come with some more acreage. So we see higher prices out of town. Now let's talk about Richland County. Mansfield, their median sales prices last year were between $155,000 and $180,000. Lexington was between $240,000 and $275,000. Lexington, for those of you who don't live in the area, is basically a suburb of Mansfield, as is Ontario, and we're going to talk about that next. So it's kind of surrounds Mansfield, but it's towards Columbus just a little bit. Ontario, $215,000 to $250,000 was their median 2025 sales range last year. Belleville, which is where the skiing is. If people come up and they go skiing at snow trails, that's in Belleville. So I threw that one in too. That's between $200,000 and $235,000. That's also close to Mohican State Park, so you see a little bump there as well. Now, again, since we did it with Ashland County, we're going to do it with Richland County. Overall, for the county, it's between $200,000 and $220,000 to purchase a home last year in Richland County. Now, our neighbors to the east, Wayne County, we're going to talk about two cities there specifically. We're going to talk about Worcester and Orrville. The median sales price last year in Worcester was between $250,000 and $285,000. In Orrville, it was $220,000 to $255,000. So kind of you see that there's a little bit of difference between some of the spots that we've discussed right now, but by and large, you're in that 250 to 260, maybe 270 range for a really nice property here in North Central Ohio. Now let's talk about Columbus. We're first going to talk about Columbus proper. So it's not really the extended metro area, so because I'm going to go over a couple of the suburbs, but Columbus in general, its median sales price last year was between 200 or 335K and 345K. But that doesn't tell the whole story because we haven't talked about some of the suburbs. So we are going to chat now about what some of the suburbs are, because you might be thinking, oh, it's not that bad. Remember, you're in town in Columbus when I'm quoting that last number. Now we're going to talk about the suburbs where most people do reside in the Columbus area. So Westerville, between $350,000 and $400,000 was the median sale price in Westerville for 2025. Hilliard, between 340 and 360. And then Dublin, which I threw in there, it's a high-end place. So you'll get ready to have sticker shock, but I did want to talk about Dublin. Between $550,000 and $630,000 was the median sales price in 2025 in that area. So let's talk about the difference in what you just heard. There's $150,000. We're going to throw Dublin out because that's like kind of way out there. But when we're talking about Columbus Metro, we're talking about Westerville and Hilliard, probably Grove City, Gahanna, some of those places. You're looking at $150,000 difference from what we chatted about with the numbers in North Central Ohio. And what you get for that is not the same thing. Let's be very clear. Here, we have less traffic, almost no traffic really to speak of. Many people here report having a very high quality of life that, again, they can get their kids to school, they can go to work, they're just not spending a ton of time in the car, they're not fighting traffic. Prices for groceries tend to be a little bit lower here, not a ton, but a little bit lower. You're saving on gas money then if you're not in the car so much. So there is a quality of life here that is really wonderful, and you generally are getting a larger lot for your money as well. So if you're buying in town, you're getting, for your money, you're getting a larger lot. If you're out and about in the counties, honestly, you're getting a much bigger lot than some of those that we talked about, because now we're talking about half acre, an acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, 4 acres, those kinds of, up to 5 to 10 to 15, however many is the lot that you buy. So just something to think about there. If you live here, you should really be thanking yourself for saving yourself money and living in such a wonderful place where there's all kinds of things to do. We have a lot of outdoor activities. We have great restaurants, all kinds of things. But I will tell you that sometimes I hear the argument, sometimes from people who live here, and also when I go to Columbus and visit my family because they're still there, I hear, yeah, but there's nothing to do out there. I'm like, okay, I mean, you're right. There's a lot more to do in Columbus, right? There's Top Golf. There's all kinds of movie theaters. I mean, the restaurants are phenomenal. I can't hold anything back on that. But I will say that 90% of my life I spend doing my day-to-day things, like my job, taking my kids to school, picking them up, maybe going to a friend's house, going to a movie, going out to dinner, those kinds of things. I'm not doing those like crazy things, right? I shouldn't say they're crazy. They're not crazy, but I'm not doing those big, like Columbus only, we don't have them here kind of things, right? So 90% of my life, I'm living my day-to-day life. And then sometimes if I want to go do something super fun, I can get in the car, drive to Columbus for 45 minutes. I can go to Top Golf or something else like that. And then I can come home. But the money that I save in the cost of living and in the home prices, to me, is something that I don't want to give up. And I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but if you are thinking about making a move out of the Columbus metro area or any of our metro areas in Ohio, look at the spaces in between. When we're talking about Columbus and Cleveland, we're about halfway between Columbus and Cleveland. So just something to consider. You might actually save yourself not only money on your upfront housing costs, but also just in general in your cost of living. It's low stress. It's a lot of fun. We have all the same things to do here that everybody else does, minus some of those kind of big things like, of the Ohio State games, the hockey games, those kinds of things. Obviously, we're going to go to Columbus for. So you're not saving a little by living here. You're saving a lot. And also, you might be giving yourself some peace of mind. I moved here 23 years ago. I grew up in Columbus. I lived in an even bigger city than that before I moved here. And let me tell you, At first, I was not sure of it because I told myself all the same things that we've been talking about in this video. The reality is that over the 23 years that I've lived here, I don't think I want to go back. I just don't. I enjoy the quality of life that I have. And I hope that the folks that live here understand how amazing it is to live here with our parks and just all the things we have to do, hunting, fishing, all kinds of stuff. And we don't only do that, right? We have movie theaters, we have shopping, we have all the things that they have in Columbus. It's just not quite so centrally located. And again, those big things, if we want to go catch an Ohio State game, we can get in the car and drive the 45 minutes to an hour to go do that, and then come back to peace and quiet again later. So just to kind of recap, in parts of Columbus, and we're going to talk about Bevelin again, you're paying over $600,000 for a house that you would pay about $300,000 for here in North Central Ohio. So if you like this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. You can follow me on all my social media accounts. I'm going to be continuing to do this kind of content as a real estate agent in my area. And I just want to tell everybody how wonderful it is. And I just like to give people actually real world comparisons so they know, what they can get by living here or what they're getting by living in somewhere else. And I'm certainly not saying that every other part of the state isn't as good, because that's not true. Ohio in general is a beautiful state. And I wish that more people knew that and would come here and visit, because I think with the lake, and then we have the Ohio River, and there's just a lot of entertainment and arts and sports. And I mean, we have a lot of professional sports teams. It is a wonderful place to live. And those of you who are living in maybe a more expensive part of Ohio, never fear, because it's still way cheaper there than it would be in New York or Los Angeles or even Atlanta. Those major metropolitan areas in the United States are still much higher than Columbus is, or any of the other metro areas in Ohio. So pat yourself on the back for being in Ohio and kind of knowing that, it's a secret, probably one I just let out of the bag, but it's a little bit of a secret. But Ohio is an amazing place to live. If you're enjoying the kind of content that I put out, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. And you can also find the links to my social media in my bio and in the description.